I'm Erin Harrison coming to you from the Santa Clara Convention Center at Cloud Expo, and I am joined now by Darryl Brown, Director of Vertical Marketing for Cloud and IT at Equinix. Welcome, Darryl.
Welcome. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you for being here. So to get us started, how is Equinix an enabler in the cloud space?
Oh, well, Equinix being the world's largest data center provider, we facilitate our customers by allowing them to build their clouds within my data centers, which puts them close to the carrier backbones, which then basically gets them much closer to their end users, improving the performance of their clouds. You know, besides the obvious, such as the reliability and the ability to leverage my skills at maintaining and running those very expensive facilities, it just really allows them to get closer to their end users and any other partners they do business with, say for mashups and so on and so forth.
Okay, let's talk about performance for a little bit and the need for cloud to be closest to the users. Why is that important?
Originally, what was happening on the cloud space was, as these clouds or hosting companies before they evolved to clouds, it was all about consolidation. I put all my data centers and all my assets in one common location. Mm-hmm. By doing so, that allowed the enterprises to save money because they basically consolidated. What's happening now is some applications require better performance for us as end users, specifically things like virtual desktop. We expect a certain type of performance.
Right.
Now, if a cloud provider builds their cloud and puts it, say, very close to their headquarters, but the people they're selling to is, say, 3,000 miles away, that cloud is not necessarily going to perform the way the end user expects. So we're working with our customers now to work out how they break their clouds up so the very interactive components are deployed much closer to the end users in the markets where those users live.
Okay.
Where my data centers tend to be are in those expensive markets like the New Yorks, the San Franciscos, the Parises, the Amsterdams, the Londons, the Tokyos. And all the data that's a little bit more less in need of high performance, or say like a Facebook, like photographs do not need to be right at the edge because they're not going to be pulled down every second. Right. They can put those in different locations a little bit more remote so they can balance their cost and performance. Makes a huge difference, especially if you're looking to deliver a cloud privately into an enterprise. If your cloud is right by the carrier backbone, you're just a cross-connect or a VLAN away from that enterprise, which both saves money and increases performance.
Okay. And Equinix is here with GoGrid, as I understand.
Yes.
So tell us about your partnership with them.
So GoGrid are an infrastructure as a service company. We work together in two ways. Predominantly, like we do with a lot of our customers, we're building more of an ecosystem. So when we go to work with, say, a large enterprise that's looking to build a cloud, we will work with them, the enterprise, and we will introduce the various cloud providers, say like GoGrid, to them to help them build a relationship and look to deploy a cloud solution, say a public or a private cloud solution, that meets the needs of the enterprise. We remain relatively neutral in the decision-making process.
Okay.
But for GoGrid, what that enables them to do is have a lot more flexibility in both where they deploy, as well as expand their sales force, because now they gain access to my sales force, and I can help them introduce them to new customers. And they rely on me heavily by taking my SLAs that I provide for physical infrastructure and passing that on to their end users. So it helps eliminate part of that worry for GoGrid as well.
Okay, great. And we were talking earlier about the need for the private cloud to get back into enterprise backbones. So tell us about that.
So traditionally today, a lot of clouds have been deployed and they leverage the internet. So a private cloud would be predominantly deployed into a private infrastructure as a service platform, be it virtual machines that are physically or logically separated from internet ones. But that cloud would be got into still over the internet using some form of VPN connectivity. So you're dependent on the internet for the performance and reliability associated with that, but the connectivity is private because it's quote-unquote secure, like when me or you get into our corporate service using a VPN. What's happening now is that people are seeing that I want to both improve the security as well as the performance. So now private clouds can, say, connect directly into an Ethernet exchange, and on that Ethernet exchange can be a broad range of carriers, the ones we're all familiar with, say your AT&Ts, your NTTs, your Deutsche Telekoms, your Global Crossings, your Level 3s. Those carriers and now also connect to that Ethernet exchange, so when their customer, the enterprise, wants to get to, say, GoGrid's cloud, that enterprise only has to request that their carrier provision, say, a VPN port or an MPLS port on the router that's in my facility, which is connected to the exchange, and it's very much a dynamic process. What it also allows is the enterprise to pick and choose between their cloud providers without having to draw long local access loops and drag them into their premises or barter with various carriers. Now they can literally just say, okay, I want GoGrid, and say I want Vertical and I want Amazon Web Services. And if they're all on that exchange, they can just take layer 2 connectivity without the need for physical fiber or so on and so forth. So it makes a performance and a security improvement multiple fold.
Okay, and before we wrap, as cloud continues to evolve and we're heading into 2011, are there any particular trends that Equinix is paying attention to?
Yeah, I would say as we evolve, most importantly, we'll need to keep our eyes on are going to be standards. No one enterprise is going to use a common cloud, right? If you look at a mashup, say you're going to look at, say, you're going to be using a Salesforce, a Workday, maybe a bit of Google in there. It's going to become more and more important that those systems can work together. And it's also going to become more and more important that those systems are very closely in proximity with each other. And I think that's going to be driving a lot of business and a lot more creativity on how clouds are built in much more of a dynamic and distributed fashion versus everything being in one space. And those are trends we're looking at because it plays into my business model. But I think if we want to see an acceleration in the space, it's going to be those standards. We don't want users to be disappointed. If I'm an end user and I get disappointed with the performance, it's going to take a tough time for my CIO to persuade me to use something.
Sure. Yeah, very good point. Well, thanks for taking the time, Darryl.
Thank you very much.
I've been speaking with Darryl Brown, Director of Vertical Marketing of Cloud and IT for Equinix. I'm Erin Harrison, coming to you from the Santa Clara Convention Center at Cloud Expo.